Welcome back to Cryptogains for another video. I've got a new mic, so I've been trying to get this mic to sound great like the last one did. You know, I had to change over just for different circumstances and making it easier. I'm going to show you an update on the Bitcoin price chart. If it's sounding interesting, drop that like, give me a subscribe. Take a look at what I see over here. And this is not financial advice. I've got Bitcoin on the weekly time frame. As you can see over here, 1 week. And put my phone on silent. People be messaging me and sending me all kind of notifications and all sorts. 1 minute. Very unprofessional. There we go. So weekly time frame down here, as you can see, 1 week. And I'm using the Bitcoin index chart. So if you guys want to do this, you can. You just come over here, search BTC crypto, and it's the index chart. And I'm using two indicators, the RSI, which is the top one, and the stochastic RSI, which is the bottom one. And as you can see here on the RSI, I drew this white line. I'm going to move it up and down. This white line has found some kind of support, and it's quite a strong support. So if we look and zoom in on this, you can see here, this is the support area where it's kind of bounced off and it's starting to come back up. Now the RSI looks for if the price of Bitcoin is overbought or oversold. And right now it's sort of in neutral. And the reason I chose this white line as the base, because if you look back in the past, you can see it's held it a few times before, or relatively. You can see around here it had some support. You can see over here back in 2018, this is sort of where it was holding relative support before it fell down, and you know, we saw some capitulation, right? So it's kind of held some support there, and it's starting to ride back up. And as you can see, as it goes up, the price starts to go up as well. And if you take a look on the stochastic RSI, which is what this one here, we can see we've just seen a cross with the blue line and this reddish kind of line, which means if they start to come back into this blue zone and start to go back up, we can see buy momentum come in. Everybody will start bringing some buy power, and usually that's a good sign. You know, we'll have to see. I mean, last time we saw this here to here, and remember, this is weekly time frame, so this is big moves, guys. It might not look like it right now looking at this chart, but it's big moves. Let me just show you real quick. So we've got this scenario right here where the blue, you know, the blue and the red line come into this blue zone. It starts to go up, and then we saw some buy power right down here to about here. That was a 38% move upwards in Bitcoin's price. So what would that be for Bitcoin if we saw something like that? A 38% movement upwards from where we are now, roughly. Look at this. Look, this is how big the move could be. Pushes us right up to $37,000 for Bitcoin, right? So that's the first thing I've been looking at. Looks kind of bullish. The second thing, let me just quickly find it. Making me do that. Let me just find it over here. I've been showing this count on the channel for a while, and in the past, you know, just quickly come right back, because you know I was trying to look at instances of what we've seen in the past with this count on the channel. How it works is you've got the blue line, yellow line, and then another blue line at the bottom, and it looks for trend reversals. And you know, you can see clearly where there's a trend reversal. Here's an example: when price action is above this yellow line, we see price action come above this yellow line. If it's in a bull rally and we're going upwards, it tends to remain above. Look, it bounces off it here, and then it bounces off it, it bounces off it. It will never break this yellow line. Even with a wick, right? It comes straight back up and it gets bought, and you can see it holds candles above the yellow line. Look, bounces off it in a bull trend. It always remains bullish if it's above this yellow line. You see, all the way through the bull cycle, always remains above the yellow line. But if it breaks it right here, I expect it to come down to the blue line and then eventually pierce through it, which is what we said before, which represents a trend reversal. Now, this could take some time because, again, weekly time candles, look how many weeks it's taken. Look, it broke this yellow line resistance, tried to break above, couldn't do it, fell back down, came above, fell back down. It held it as resistance, this yellow line, right? Came straight down, then it finally broke out of this blue line and pierced through it. That would have been the buy of an opportunity, because if you was buying there back in 2018, you'd have looked like an absolute boss now when you know, held it all the way up to like $70,000 and took profits there, and then, you know, so same again. And this is just another example showing you again how when it's above, when it breaks above this yellow line, it bounces above and stays above this yellow line, is bullish, right? So we broke here in 2021. We saw price action pierce through the yellow line, held resistance. Look, couldn't break above, fell back down. And all the way through the last sort of year or two, if you've been here watching, we've just been falling down and not been able to break the resistance until recently, right? Which is where many people were saying the bottom was in. I believe this was the bottom. We broke this here. Look, we came above, we bounced above it. We saw a wick, but the body of the candle was closing right here. And again, look, it's been bouncing above it until recently. And this is where we were recently. Now let's take a look. I'm going to get rid of this because we've been underneath it. And like I said to you in the past, usually when we're underneath, it starts to reject and get resistance. And then eventually at some point in the future, come down to this blue line and pierce through it. Just like what we saw in the past, right? Real quick, refresh your memory. Every time, this is a fine example right here. Look, you break down in this yellow line, you find it hard to break above, you eventually come to this blue line and then you pierce through it. So the question is, what's going to happen now? Is Bitcoin going to find this level hard to break above, which is sort of where we are now, $27,000, $27,300, or will it pierce, break straight above this and start being bullish again? If it does, this will be the first instance that I've ever seen Bitcoin where it breaks underneath on this counter channel on the weekly time frame and then come back above and still be bullish. Because in the past, every time it's broke this yellow line, we've always seen candles underneath, it gets rejected. As this, look, you can see very clearly, we saw price action come up, it got rejected and came back down. You see, it's very hard to break back above again. And it's very likely that at some point in the future, I don't know when, but maybe many months from the future, we may see this pierce through and then come straight down and pierce through this blue line. But time will tell. If it breaks above, and then we start seeing, this kind of pattern again, where, let me just find it. Where's my my thingy? And we start seeing this. I'm going to change this to yellow. And we start, it just bounces off it. It remains bullish. Bounce, 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 and it stays above this yellow line. If we start to see that when this comes back up, then great. Then that's, like I said, that would be the first time we saw this instance where it pierced below it and then it actually came back up and remained bullish. So that was pretty much what I wanted to show you for the Bitcoin price. Was it helpful to you? If it was, drop that like, give me a subscribe, become a Patreon. The link is in my info section. Come over there. I'm guiding people on their journey, trying to help you make good money for the long term, because I'm a long-term investor. So when I buy coins, I buy them now to hold long-term, 1 to 2 years, that can make me big money in the future. You can follow what I do. It's all over there on the Patreons, on the Patreon account. So yeah, thank you for watching. And I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Oh, and if the sound's better, let me know in the comments. Cheers.